is Sofia Cornu. I'm a second-year computer science student at University of Cambridge, Gonville Keys College. I did the project 3.5 years ago, just before going into the last 2 years of high school, and I was working on the project that was using machine vision to identify cancerous melanomas. So that was a really cool experience in my opinion, and I think it was just a great way to gain exposure to it without needing any sort of background in the area, really. So it felt like a great introduction to it and a way to get excited about what you can do with machine learning as well. I'd done a bit of computer science at school and I'd taken, I think, a couple courses in Python programming before, so it meant that the programming aspect of it was approachable, but it was framed in a way that meant you didn't need to know too much about machine learning itself before you started. It was definitely something that was useful to have more than anything as a springboard, because then it meant that we have some choice in the diploma that we did at least, and it meant that then you could sort of hone in on the areas of machine learning that you quite liked, which you might not have considered doing otherwise if it sort of felt like something you didn't know enough about to try and approach. So I think in that respect, it opened a lot of doors to then other projects that you could talk about quite nicely in personal statements and things like that. First, it was a personal statement that was the most heavily weighted piece of information you provide the universities with. So in there, I think I had a section where I talked about it in terms of the sort of skills that I had gained throughout the project and talked a little bit about the actual application that we'd designed, and also mentioned it as the starting point for my interest in machine learning. It's been great in terms of recognizing some of the material when you see it, even if it's just on a surface level. So some of the names like CNNs and stuff like that, it's at least it's something you know you've seen before, which sort of subconsciously makes it more approachable. So I think that's been quite nice. And also, we have a choice of projects for the part of our course that we're going into now, and it's definitely been an influence in the sense that I've gone for projects that also tend to use machine learning for some sort of social cause. So it was useful for that. In terms of the application process, once you've identified the subject that you want to apply for, I would say find your niche within the subject and then try and hone in on that. Because, for example, within computer science, it's quite hard to talk about it and say that you're interested in the entire scope of the subject. It's, I think, much more useful if you can discover the bit that you're very passionate about, hone in on that, do some reading, and then that way in essays, or I know in the US it works differently, but for us in personal statement, your interest and passion for that is going to shine through much more if it's something specific that you've done quite a bit more reading on.